I'm John Connolly, Manager of Video Programming for Ascension Parish Government.
And I'm Clint Falcon, Video Production Specialist and Producer for Ascension 21.
We'd like to welcome you to the first episode of Inside Ascension, a new program you'll only see here on Ascension 21.
Inside Ascension is designed to bring you, the viewer, and all the residents of Ascension Parish an inside look at the agencies and departments making up Ascension Parish government.
You'll also see stories featuring the people and places that make Ascension Parish such a great place to live and work.
In this first show, we address domestic violence. If you're in an abusive relationship and don't know where to turn, stay tuned. We have important, possibly life-saving information on what to do and where to go to get help.
We'll also break ground on a project designed to help control flooding in Ascension Parish. We'll introduce you to some of the four-legged residents of our parish available for adoption at Animal Control. And we'll share a list of upcoming events in and around Ascension, a calendar we call Events by You. And we'll close the show with a little lanyap from a musician known around the world who lives in Gonzales and works for Ascension Parish, bluesman Larry Neal.
So if you will, please stay with us. Watch and enjoy as we take you inside Ascension. In the October primary election, Tommy Martinez was re-elected to another four-year term as parish president. Martinez won with 72% of the vote. In parish council races, Oliver Joseph, Kent Scheck-Snyder, and Dibsy Lambert were re-elected to additional terms. Travis Turner was elected in District 3, Terry Castle was elected in District 8, and Brian Melanson won in District 10. In District 4, Council President Pat Bell and Planning and Zoning Commissioner Dan Satterley face off in the November 19th runoff. Running unopposed and elected to additional terms are Councilman Randy Kluwat in District 6, Chris Lohr in District 7, Todd Lambert in District 9, and Benny Johnson in District 11. With the recently passed ordinances in place, parish residents fed up with litter, trashed appliances, and junk cars in their neighborhoods now have a parish adjudication court that will hear cases and complaints. Residents can fill out a private property nuisance form located on the front page left side of the parish's website, ascensionparish.net, under important links. The form may be emailed to the Department of Planning and Development or brought to the office at 42077 Church Point Road in Gonzales. The Ascension Parish Adjudication Court is held on the second and fourth Thursdays of each month at 9 a.m. at the Gonzales Courthouse on Irma Boulevard. The hearings take place in the Parish Council chambers on the second floor. Concerns about outdoor debris burning in Ascension Parish were discussed before the Strategic Planning Committee. Open burning, where houses are close together, can present problems for neighbors, but with no debris removal service in unincorporated areas, options are few for residents with debris to dispose. Exact restrictions and how to enforce them are still uncertain, but we'll keep an eye on this issue and bring you any new information as it develops. Ascension Parish Government is pleased to announce YourGov, a web-based service where you can request parish services or report non-emergency issues from your computer or smartphone. You can report concerns like potholes, drainage issues, vandalism, along with details like location, even pictures, can be sent from YourGov directly to the proper parish office for quick attention. Look for the YourGov icon on the front page of ascensionparish.net. No one should live in fear for their safety or the safety of their children. If you or if someone you know is in a violent relationship and feel there's no way out, stay tuned. We have some important, possibly life-saving information for you. We'll be right back.
Today is a special day. Today we gather as a nation and as an international community to recognize the selfless decision of one of the most influential women of our time. She's been recognized by religious figures and politicians around the world. To us, she's just Rachel. But to the rest of the world, She is the woman who, after having one too many drinks, chose not to drive home buzzed. Here today to honor Rachel is the family whose lives she spared.
Welcome back. We often hear about Ascension Parish being the best parish in Louisiana. How lucky we are to live here. But for some of our neighbors, they're lucky to be alive. In Louisiana, 2/3 of the women murdered by men are the result of domestic violence. Yes, domestic violence exists in our parish, in our neighborhoods, and in some of our homes. The Ascension Parish Battered Women's Program seeks to end domestic violence in our parish. They provide a way out and support for those who don't know where to turn.
What is domestic violence? Well, it's not just an argument that a person might have with their intimate partner, but instead it's considered if there's a pattern of coercive behavior that happens in an intimate partner relationship, that's what we serve. That's the defining moment when that happens, and patterns of control are established one partner over the other when a person is hurt over time, and the patterns become more frequent and more severe over time. And that's the population that we serve, the domestic violence survivors and their children.
This event is called Take Back the Night. It's designed to remember the victims of domestic violence, celebrate peace, and educate people in violent relationships about services and support available to help them get out and take back the night.
We have a terrific set of support members here in Ascension Parish for the capital area, Family Violence Intervention Center. Actually, there are many involved community members and resources, including the Sheriff's Department, the Police Department. Our hearing officer here is absolutely awesome. It's one of the best that we have in the capital area. We offer individual counseling and support groups for people that are living in this area that are dealing with domestic violence issues, who are survivors, persons who are trying to figure out if they're in a domestic violence situation, and we also offer services for children. The Capital Area Family Violence Intervention Center is designed, our primary mission is three things: to provide services for persons who are in domestic violence situations, to provide education to the community about domestic violence, and then to create social change so that we can help change attitudes about violence in our community. Take Back the Night is a part of that social change effort that we do every year.
I work with the Domestic Violence Unit in the Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office. My title is Domestic Violence Coordinator, and I know you can't read my pen, but it says, if somebody's hurting you, you can talk to me about it. I'm upstairs in the Family Services Division, and it really warms my heart to look out and see so many people who came out to celebrate this with us tonight.
Domestic violence is a certain pattern of behavior that it progresses. And it may not happen that often, but the incidents can become more frequent and more violent. And there is a lot of it in our parish, and it's just now that people are okay with coming forward about it.
And they're coming forward in greater numbers, standing up against their violent partners, taking back their lives and the lives of their children. Last year in Louisiana, 66 people were killed by their domestic partner, 7 in the capital area.
A temporary restraining order is just one tool that a victim of domestic violence can apply for.
Ascension Parish Deputy Pam Richardson is the Domestic Violence Coordinator with the Family Services Division. She is the go-to person on the front line in the battle against domestic violence.
When a victim calls 911 or somebody in their family calls 911, even if it's a hang-up call, the deputies are still dispatched out to that house. They get there and they investigate the incident. If they have probable cause, then an arrest is made. If that defendant is brought to jail, the copy of that police report is forwarded to my division, where it's reviewed for follow-up. And in that report, I will have the victim's name and contact information. Then I will contact those victims and get them to come into the office. If they choose to file for a temporary restraining order, or if they just want some information about the services that we have available in our community. I work very closely with the Battered Women's Program. I refer everyone to the Battered Women's Program for counseling. I also will refer victims across the street to Ascension counseling. They've even come to my office if somebody needed some help in my office.
But Pam is not the only soldier fighting for victims. Besides Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office and the Gonzales Police, the Army consists of the Capital Area Battered Women's Program, the Ascension Counseling Center, the Health Unit, legal services, attorneys, court advocates, and the services are confidential and free.
A temporary restraining order and a protective order judgment can prohibit abusing, harassing, stalking, following, or threatening. In those documents, a petitioner can ask for use of the home or use of a vehicle or even custody of her children. It's a very valuable tool in the fight against domestic violence. All of these names are listed in the Louisiana Protective Order Registry, which is a very valuable tool for law enforcement. The information in that Protective Order Registry is available to law enforcement 24 hours a day. If they running a criminal history on a defendant, the first thing that's going to pop up is that he's a defendant in an order of protection, and all of the prohibited behaviors are going to be listed there.
So if you're in an abusive relationship and you want it to end, make the call. Or if someone you know, work with, maybe a neighbor or a family member who is scared, living in fear, or powerless, make the call for them. In an emergency, call 911. Otherwise, the 24-hour hotline is 225-389-3001.
It is always answered by someone who's trained in domestic violence and is capable of handling emergency situations, educating a person about domestic violence, or offering support.
You wouldn't hesitate for a moment if you saw your neighbor's house on fire to talk about it or to call the police. But if you hear screaming and furniture moving around, it's time to call 911 and get some help to that victim. She may not be strong enough to call herself.
Ascension Parish officials and project engineers broke ground recently with gold shovels, symbolizing the beginning of construction for the Henderson Bayou Pump Station and Floodgate, what will become a vital weapon in the battle against backwater flooding in the Galvez area of Ascension Parish. On an ordinary day, Henderson Bayou is much like what you'd expect to see on a scenic postcard of South Louisiana. Calm, peaceful, relaxing. But back during the flood of '83, it was quite the opposite.
Well, it was just an unusual amount of rainfall, and in this particular area where we are here on the Henderson Bayou, the flooding that you see here is caused by backwater from the Amite River that backs up into Henderson Bayou, which causes flooding.
The '83 flood forced water into more than 500 homes in Ascension Parish. Sandbagging distribution went on literally around the clock, 24 hours non-stop, in an effort to keep the water out of homes. When that didn't work, evacuation by boat was the only way out of many areas. So bad was the flood in '83, the sandbaggers got together, formulated a plan, and persuaded their neighbors to vote for and pass a sales tax to pay for projects in a parish-wide drainage plan.
Everybody get a little. You're not going to shovel too much of it. All right. On three. 1, 2, 3.
Well, this is a groundbreaking for the project we've been working on for about the last 4 years. And actually it's a project that was planned back under the proposition for the sales tax in 1983. Part of that plan, we called the Follett plan, called for a Marvin Borough pump station, but also called for a floodgate and a pump station at Henderson Bayou. And again, this is part of a proposition from 1983 that was promised to the taxpayers, and we're just getting around to fulfilling that promise and building a floodgate and pump station to relieve the flooding from Avett River that may encroach into the Henderson Bayou drainage basin.
But today, hopefully, with the cutting of this, and in about 14 months when the floodgates are built, we can assure that most of the people in Ascension Parish, under a regular flood situation, will have some sort of protection.
Now, explain to me a little bit about what the floodgate does and how it operates, if you can.
Well, it'll certainly stop Henderson Bayou from backing up in some of the major subdivisions here. Mm-hmm. It'll equalize the water between Henderson Bayou and Lake Velor, and it'll protect several hundred homes.
This is about a $15.5 million project. For construction and total project is about $21 million, which includes right-of-way acquisition and land acquisition and permitting and engineering. So total project cost of about $21.5 million, and it's all funded through the sales tax and through the tax in Ascension Parish for drainage, and no federal funds is used for this.
This is the last piece of the puzzle. We will continue on improving the levees for the Law Ridge, and this is a good day in Ascension Parish.
A good day indeed. A day back in 1983 the sandbaggers envisioned we would see this day.
It was Marvin Borough, which we mentioned. He was on the police jury at the time and was a type of thinker that always looked forward to doing something for the future, something big, and saw the big need. And he was instrumental from the police jury point of view of spearheading, getting the voters to approve money to do this thing. And then we had a lot of concerned citizens like myself that joined him and went out and to the public and made presentations to the public what we needed the money for and what it would do. And we had another gentleman I remember worked with us named Dr. Bryant. He was a dentist in the area. He's now deceased. And another one was the mayor of Gonzales at the time, where the whole program started. And at that time they thought the program would protect Gonzales, but they finally realized it was just the center of the whole drainage basin, so you just can't protect Gonzales as such. You have to look at the whole parish. Right. And that's when the whole parish program was developed.
I'd like to remember the other sandbaggers that's not with us, particular Marvin Borough. I tell you, he's due so much credit that this whole drainage program is what it is today. And it was Dr. Bryant, which is now deceased, Nelson Rowe, which was mayor of the city of Gonzales at the time, was an active participant. And they all made a big contribution that we've got the money today to do a project like this.
They sure did. I can see them both looking down today saying, look what those boys are doing down there. Yeah. I remember picking them up, Mr. Marvin and Grandpa being in the back seat. You say, look, man, we need to get this done. Marvin said, I don't know if them boys like that. He's talking about Tommy and Rusty. Yeah. They were old enough to call them boys and coming up, but I can see them up there today saying, hey, look what those boys are doing, and they finalizing on something good.
Well, I'm just proud to say that I knew all those guys, and Mr. Bro, Mr. Marvin, Mr. Buret, they were all good friends of mine, and this was their dream, and I know that they're looking from above and blessing this occasion, because it is a blessed occasion. And again, I want to thank everybody that's been involved in this project from beginning and hopefully till end in 2 years. It's going to be about a 2-year project.
I'm 87 years old now, and I'm hoping to live long enough to see it become a reality. That's been some 28 years ago now, and it's just a wonderful feeling to see it become a reality.
Get it all over with.
It's a great feeling on behalf of the entire East Ascension Drainage Board. We've worked very diligently for this over the years. Even though sometimes the faces change, the project's continued, and you know, hopefully today we'll start the beginning of the end. But once we actually do this, we're going to add one more leg to it and build a protection levee at in Sanamo area. So you know, we're going to continue trying to do the best that we can to protect the property of the citizens of Ascension Parish.
The Henderson Bayou Pump Station will house two 500 cubic feet per second pumps and will be located at 44469 Henderson Floodgate Road off Highway 931 in Galvez.
Coming home can be hard if you're a veteran of Iraq or Afghanistan. You may feel like you're all alone. But you're not alone. At IAVAorg, your fellow vets are all around you. Join our free online community, get the resources you need, and connect to other vets who know where you're coming from. IAVA.org. We've got your back.
Ascension Parish Animal Control Director Michael LeBlanc tells us they've seen a dramatic increase in the amount of calls they receive, many of them from pet owners unable to care for a new litter of unexpected animals. LeBlanc stresses the importance of spaying and neutering your pets to avoid the increase of animals brought into the control center. If you're interested in getting a pet, here's a look at some of the animals currently available for adoption. Thanks for watching this premiere edition of Inside Ascension. We hope you enjoyed it.
We welcome your feedback. You can send your comments to insideascension@apgov.us. The email address is on your screen. If you have any questions regarding Ascension Parish government, send those too. We'll get them to the right department and maybe address them on future shows.
Now we leave you with a little lanyap from a musician who's played all over the world. He lives in Gonzales and works for Ascension Parish, bluesman Larry Neal.
Thanks again for joining us, and please keep watching Ascension 21.